It's hard to believe it's now been 30 years since the rock world mourned the untimely death of none other than Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain, truly one of the all-time greats, writing some of the biggest songs in music history. He left an indelible mark on the world, and if you need further evidence of that, you can see the whopping 25 plus million monthly listeners to this day still on Spotify, or the fact that Nirvana remains one of the strongest brands in all of merchandising. All of this is to say that Kurt has left a lasting impact on the world. And while the fans around the world feel this loss very intensely to this day, no one has felt this more than his own daughter, Frances Bean Cobain, who published one of the most beautiful tributes I've ever seen written for anybody. And it's a reminder, while all of us lost our favorite musician, she lost her father. And I wanted to share this with you. This is what she had to say. She shared this photograph of her father's hands taken by Michael Stipe. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then she shared this following statement, which I thought was incredibly powerful. She wrote, 30 years ago, my dad's life ended. The second and third photo captured the last time we were together while he was still alive. So you can see this photograph here. She was very young at the time. And then this one as well. She said the second and third photo captured the last time we were together while he was still alive. His mom, Wendy, would often press my hands to her cheek and say, with a lulling sadness, "You have his hands." She would breathe them in as if it were her only chance to hold him just a little bit closer, frozen in time. I hope he's holding his hands wherever they are. In the last 30 years, my ideas around loss have been in a continuous state of metamorphosing. The biggest lesson learned, though, grieving for almost as long as I've been conscious, is that it serves a purpose. The duality of life and death and pain and joy, yin and yang, need to exist alongside each other, or none of this would have any meaning. In the impermanent nature of human existence, which throws us into the depths of our most authentic lives, as it turns out, there is no greater motivation for leaning into loving awareness than knowing everything ends. She continues, I wish I could have known my dad. I wish I knew the cadence of his voice, how he liked his coffee, or the way it felt to be tucked in after a bedtime story. I always wondered if he would have caught tadpoles with me during the muggy Washington summers, or if he smelled of Camel Lights and strawberry Nesquik, his favorites, I've been told. But there's also deep wisdom being on an expedited path to understanding how precious life is. He gifted me a lesson in death that can only come through the lived experience of losing someone. It's the gift of knowing for certain, when we love ourselves and those around us with compassion, with openness, with grace, the more meaningful our time here inherently comes. She continued, Kurt wrote me a letter before I was born. The last line of it reads, wherever you go or wherever I go, I will always be with you. He kept his promise because he's present in so many ways. Whether it's by hearing the song or through the hands we share, in those moments, I get to spend a little time with my dad, and he feels transcendent. She closed saying, to anyone who has wondered what it would have looked like to live alongside the people they have lost, I'm holding you in my thoughts today. The meaning of our grief is the same. Absolutely profound and powerful tribute there from Frances Bean Cobain, paying homage to her late father, one of the all-time greats, Kurt Cobain, dearly missed.